good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis. Good morning, Leeward Islands. Good morning, OECS. Good morning, Caribbean. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to another edition of Island Tea here on winnfm 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and I'm doing it alone today. Hortensia, she will not be in, so I'm running things, so to speak. And thank you for tuning in to Island Tea here on winnfm 98.9. We really appreciate your listenership. And today is Wednesday the 13th. Wow, we're almost halfway in the month. And it's another beautiful day here in St. Kitts, winnfm broadcasting from Unit C24, the Sands Complex in Bastille, St. Kitts. And it's a beautiful, beautiful day. And oh boy, have we got a few things to talk about as usual, according to Brother Bob Marley. And we know the President of the United States, he is visiting China. And for good or for bad, strategically or otherwise, there was a representative from Iraq in China meeting with them. And we haven't introduced a topic as yet, and wow, the lines are going off. So let us be bold and go to the line and say, good morning, caller, welcome. Oh, we lost that caller. Sorry about that, caller. Please call in again, 466-0989. That's your number to call. And if we start off on the local scene, we mentioned it yesterday, but we didn't touch base about St. Kitts and Nevis, citizen by, here is another call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Island Tea. You're live on winnfm 98.9.
Good morning, Biff.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Greetings. Yes, and greetings once more to you and all the listeners in the name of Jesus Christ, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell, by the gospel only, through faith only, according to the Bible only, in Jesus only. Now, first of all, I would like to say, I saw yesterday on a WhatsApp channel, I think it's a news thing, that a popular media personnel, actually Bucky, got it.
Sorry, caller. I've seen things. I haven't any confirmation on that. And I'll ask you to not continue along those lines until I'm able to substantiate that, please. And thank you for understanding. We appreciate that.
Okay, another issue. There's a video going around, right? There's a video going around that that shows videotaping where two police and somebody who is identified as a prosecutor, it seems as though they were in a secluded place. And according to the person taping the video, he was accusing them of beating a male who was handcuffed, naked, on the ground. And according to the person who was taping it, he said he saw them hit the person.
And that's it. That happened in you're alleging that happened in St. Kitts, Nevis?
Yes, because he said he's going to let the people of St. Kitts know about it.
Okay, can I ask you to put a pause on that as well? This is the first time I'm hearing anything, so obviously I can't substantiate. I haven't seen or heard anything.
I'll send you the video now.
Oh, okay, well, I haven't had a chance to look at it. Never mind confirming it. I thank you for that. But can we move on to another topic,
I would like the
please?
media to look into it and really get down to it. Because if I'm using the word, if there's any truth to it, it is a very, very serious thing.
I agree with you, caller. But like I said, I'll forward it to the news department to perhaps produce a story if that is correct. And I myself will be able to look into it so I could come on the program at a future date and said, a caller called in about this, and I confirmed it is the case. But thanks for bringing up to our attention. But you ever thought about being in media, Greg?
If I ever thought about being media?
Yes, because
not really. Not really. My thing is to do My thing is to, well, I'm going to tell you what, okay? If I go into media, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I want the truth reported. I ain't want nothing twist and turn to suit whoever. I want the truth to be
That is the way it
told.
should be.
And I realize in a lot of media things, sometimes they create the news for specific agenda. And I don't know how good I would do in the media business because I am all for the truth, wherever it leads.
That is how the media is supposed to be. And
Right.
I think most persons, if not everyone, would compliment WinFM 98.9 for bringing trusted news. We were
Well,
once
yes.
we were once accused of being supportive of the opposition at a point. That's because we brought news against the government because, like you, I believe when the public listens to any item of news, even sports, and I have to be very cautious about that, they need to be comfortable that they're hearing the truth unaltered without any grains of salt in it. And it's unfortunate when media stations don't do that. And there's a media conference happening at Marriott at the moment. And one of the things the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Media Association, Andre Huey, warned about was AI misinformation and disinformation. And he's so correct because even with sports, when I go to do a sports item, I have to look, seeing it, it sounds credible, but I have to do 3, 4, 5 different sources to confirm if this is really so, and not just any type of source, particular source. When you grab something from, say, BBC or Al Jazeera, you get the impression that most of it, if not all of it, is correct. And I can't say the same for media houses in the US. You probably have to listen 4 or 5 to pick sense out of nonsense, according to old people, because some are accused of supporting the government, some are accused of being anti-government, but the media is supposed to be neutral.
Yes, and report the truth.
Yes.
There are some things I would praise Win for, and there are other things that I would admonish Win against. And I think, for example, during the COVID era, I think Win, like vast majority of media houses, was very one-sided. So
in favor
there are
of
things, yes, I would give Win kudos for, and there are things I would admonish and rebuke Win for, just like so many other media houses.
Okay, I understand
That's
that.
the truth. That's the complete truth, if you want me to be honest with you.
Well, I don't expect you to not tell the truth. And in some cases, you may share your opinion, which other persons will not agree. Same thing with me. I may share opinion, and persons may not necessarily agree with me. And but the thing is, once our opinions are based on facts, something happened because, for example, my opinion about the airplane that was sunk off there, somebody said it should have been donated to the education system to allow for aeronautic engineers, and I supported that. So my opinion was, yes, it should have been given there, and that's an opinion, somewhat a fact. But if, for example, I come up with an opinion, there's a Kittian Division footballer who was shot in Dominica. If I come up and say something completely, though it's an opinion, out of the fact, and you listen it, you don't get an idea what is happening, I don't believe things like that happen. Our opinions, yes, we might see a car, and we get an opinion that's probably a little different to what it is, but from what we're seeing, but it's about the car. But not to give an opinion about a bus when you're talking about a car. That's just my view, eh? But I thank you very much. Sorry?
And don't forget, I hope you all investigate those 2 matters that I tried to speak to.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling in, Greg, and continue to listen, and of course encourage others to listen.
Yeah.
You're listening to WinFM 98.9. If it's one person, we're certainly going to be calling into WinFM daily. It is Greg, and if it's one person who's going to share his view and defend it stoutly, strongly, whatever you want to call it, it is Greg. The women not agree with him. That is how the cookie crumbles. And if we look at some some news items here, and we go to the WinFM 98.9's website. Foreign Affairs Minister reiterates positive impact of recently opened High Commission in England, and this is an article on May 12th by Kevin Brown. St. Kitts Nevis, St. Kitts and, well, it's coming from St. Kitts Nevis, WinFM. St. Kitts and Nevis officially opened the High Commission in New Delhi, India on April 7, 2026, and was the first from the Eastern Caribbean to conduct such a mission. One thing about us, Kittitians and Nevisians, we keep punching our way above our weight. We keep being the first, the trendsetters, the leaders, and like one of the messages from WinFM, looking back at the competition from miles ahead, and I really like that. I really, really like that. And it's so we are when it comes to doing things, as in this case. And the impact of the new diplomatic mission serves as a bridge to secure Indian technology transfer and capacity building in renewable energy and a disaster response, while enabling the Federation to benefit from Indian expertise in digital governance, health cooperation, and infrastructure to boost efficiency and public services. I quote, "The Indian government has offered a lot of assistance to us, so it was important that India be one of those countries that we establish diplomatic relations with. The country is rich. The country has resources, enormous resources. The information technology as it is driving India's development. We believe that this is a good place to try our very best. IT in terms of government, transitioning our communication internally and communications with the rest of the country digitally. India will assist us in that all." End quote. And that is from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Italy, the Right Honorable Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, and that was during a recent broadcast of In Focus. India, a very, very powerful country. From a sporting point of view, they are one of the top countries in the world, and it is said that they control the international ICC Cricket Council, because most times they're doing things to benefit them. I think I'll be correct in saying they have one of the strongest franchise leagues in the world. That's the IPL, India Premier League. And when we speak about franchise, we're talking about T20 cricket. And they have been working wonders. Educationally, they've produced some very smart people, especially in mathematics and physics. And who knows, hopefully we'll be able to get some scholarships there. I'm hoping that the government will be negotiating to get scholarships there for our people to go down to India, could you imagine, and do scholarships in physics, mathematics, IT, and who knows, maybe even AI. A lot of us may be afraid or uncertain about AI, but whether we like it or not, we have to get involved in AI. We have to, and obviously there's qualification out there to be had, and I encourage everybody to go out and do that. What we're going to do, we're going to take a slight break, and we will be right back in a moment or two. Let us go downtown and pay some bills. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC, home and building depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC, home and building depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC, home and building depot. Vroom, 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 vroom. Old fast, bright, smart, you're out now. Vroom. This is your start. Big deal, nice wheels, just my ride. No wait, no hassle.
and fast approval. Apply today at any National Bank branch or online at www.sknanb.com. Vroom, your used car loan from National Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your start.
Mom deserves more.
Building a home? Fixing up?
And now she gets more at SL Horsefoods and Company Limited.
Try Horsefoods first.
It's the Mother's Day Mega Weekend Sale. May 7th to May 9th. 3 days only. Love Mom. Save big.
Try Horsefoods first.
3 days of deals for Mom. Get a massive 25% off store-wide on all discountable items at Horsefoods Building Center and Horsefoods Nevis Center.
Building materials, hardware, furniture, appliances.
Horsefoods Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Horsefoods Auto Sales, Parts and Accessories, and Builder's Paradise. Plus, get cashback coupons on all higher purchase deals. Furniture, appliances, gifts, auto supplies, building materials, and more. Mom deserves more. So shop smart, save big, and celebrate Mom with SL Horsefoods and Company Limited. May 7th to May 9th only. Don't miss it.
Try Horsefoods first.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back to Island Tea here on WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills from SP with the best B, Hub City, Hub. And thank you for joining us. If this is the first time you're joining us, you're listening to Island Tea on WinFM 98.9. And we're broadcasting from Unit C24 in the Sands Complex, Bastia. We have a caller online, but give me a second, caller, as we have some comments on Facebook. And Cleo Rogers says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you, to Cleo. Gwyneth Samuels, WinFM News is the best in St. Kitts by far. It reminds me of Radio Antilles. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gwyneth. We appreciate that comment. Thank you for tuning in as well, Cleo and Gwyneth. And chances are a few persons listening might be too young to remember Radio Antilles. That's a radio station broadcasting from out of Montserrat. And one of the DJs there, JGP, he's actually on Radio ZJB, which is Montserrat's national radio station. He's still around. Rose Woolach, who was there, I think she went into politics and she was a government minister at a point. And those are two persons I remember from back then. I remember Dubai. I don't know what became of him. Somehow those are the three of the persons I remember as a small boy listening to Radio Antilles. I used to like listening, and they had moved to Trinidad. I don't know. I don't think they're in existence though. But anyway, good morning, caller. Thank you for holding. Welcome to Island Tea here on WinFM 98.9. You're live.
Good morning, Biff.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, listeners, I'm fine. Just a point to note, though, when you talk about our media here, I think, yes, you might be self-congratulatory about WinFM, but I think WinFM falls into that category as well, the category of showing deference to the government release of, whether it be, any information the government release, press releases, the shows that they normally have, that the government normally put on, SKNIS, what's it, the round table, those kinds of things.
Yes.
Generally speaking, the media shows deference to it. And one may say it's understandable in the sense that government has very deep pockets and they don't want to get on the wrong side of government, so they'll accommodate them. But I was watching CNN just this morning, and one of the points that was noted, because they were talking about the media as well, and one of the points noted was that government issues a lot of propaganda, right? And yes, and all the panelists agreed, but said, kind of wryly, with a smirk, propaganda is effective. Okay, and so while I agree that news reports should be truthful and verified and all of that, I noticed that you were kind of very abrupt with Greg this morning. He didn't want to be risky and go out on a limb. But the fact remains is that the media has to walk that line between propaganda and the truth. Okay, and they don't always get it right, but they should at least try. With regards to the High Commissioner, is it ambassador? I'm not sure what level of representation is going to be in India, that we're going to have in India. Is it consular? Is it ambassadorial? Or?
I think it's High Commission.
Okay, right. The point to note is that we already have diplomatic relations with India. I mean, they've been, since I was at college, well over 20 years ago, almost. They used to provide scholarships for, I know for sure, people from the college went to India to study for various studies. And so we do have diplomatic relations with them. The question is, how deep should those relationships go in terms of the reward we get for it? We can understand, for instance, that Trinidad and Guyana, which have significant Indian populations, we can understand their diplomatic footprint being heavier there. I'm not so sure that we can say the same in St. Kitts and Nevis. I know in the OECS, yes, while it might be good to say, well, we're the first in the OECS to go and establish diplomatic relations at that level, I know that at one point there was, in fact, joint representation between the OECS, like we have I think we still do. I think in terms of, let's say, in Morocco, I think it is.
Yes, we have
clearly is.
OECS mission
Right.
in Morocco and a petition. His
Yeah,
Excellency Ian
and,
Quigley, former Commissioner of Police.
Right,
He
and
is the ambassador.
He's the whole OECS, essentially. Okay. There was, for good reason too, that attempt for joint representation because it saves money.
Of course.
Right? Yes. Okay. And so one has to weigh that against, what when we're gonna to extend that footprint, we have to make sure that it's worth it. Put it that way. Okay. Because we do have relations with them already, diplomatic relations with them already. The other thing we have to be careful of, and this is a case where government has not always been very accountable in terms of its appointments in these kinds of positions, whether they be diplomatic or consultancies or whatever they may be. And it's not a case like we're in the States. I just saw a report which said that the new Jamaican ambassador has to be confirmed, not just by the State Department and the President who appointed her, okay, who put up the appointment, but by Congress. In other words, they have a say as to whether or not the person is suitable, whether or not the appointment should be made or not.
Is that normal standard practice for
in
all
the
countries?
United States? Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes. And that at least adds another layer of accountability to government in that, sure, you could put up your friend for nomination if you want, but at least, somebody else gets that appointment. Okay, I don't think it's the same. We don't have that luxury down here, and I'm sure we have all kinds of people appointed, and the public, even though they're supposed to represent the country, the public doesn't know. Okay, and I think that is an area that we should look at, just to make sure that things you don't have because you can abuse these things.
Of course,
you could have all kind of quid pro quos and so on in between there, and the public doesn't know about it, and the public should know about it because it's government. It's not a private business or company or something that is being run where they decide and they alone decide who should, what the policies and so on are. Okay, so I just look at that, and I add, in relation to what you were discussing yesterday, at some point, I didn't call in, but you were discussing, I think you and Constance, you were discussing, well, what can government do in terms of cutting back, in terms of saving money, because
making the increase of imported goods less impactful
right.
on nationals.
Yes, government depend on taxes, etc., and all of that. Well, cutting back this is part of cutting back expenditure, right? I know it's very controversial, and I know it's not going to happen, especially if this goes to an election. But for some time now, I've been pointing out what the World Bank has been saying, that upwards of a third of our workforce is employed by government, the highest in the OECS. That's not a statistic that is really good. Just by way of comparison again, the U.S. employs less than 10% in its public workforce, right? We are a third, and there have been no steps that I can think of to deal with that. Because we often hear that the private sector is the engine of growth for the economy. Government provides services which actually use up money. Government doesn't really make money to spur growth and so on. Government provides services, whether it's hospital, education, those kinds of services that actually consumes money, right? And so it's the private sector that really provide the impetus for growth and development and jobs and higher paying jobs and those kinds of things. And I don't see, what I see, which is one of my criticism of the government. I know it's not, people probably won't pay attention to this. Government seem to have concentrated more on handing out little tidbits, improving conditions in certain aspects and so on, as opposed to really going after investment that is going to provide growth. And it's no surprise, therefore, that our growth rate is not in keeping. I think I mentioned a few days ago that the ECLAC report shows we're second to last in terms of growth rate. I think St. Vincent is the last, but we're right next. The others are higher up, have a higher growth rate. And so it's no surprise if the government does not really concentrate on bringing in investment, new capital, new money, right? Projects, and when I say projects that's going to promote real growth. I'm not talking about a new school or a new hospital, because, like I said, yes, you get short-term benefits in terms of employment while it's being constructed, but afterwards, you have to pay to keep them operationalized, and that's a cost. Okay, so I'm saying that the government
30 seconds.
Yeah, government, I think, was concentrating on, yes, you have to deal with individual, the things like cost of living and the standard of living of people and so on. But there's a bigger picture that in the long term is absolutely necessary for a government to be doing, and that is making sure that we have solid investment and solid growth to support our standard of living. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot, Carla, especially for your facts. I Googled the information, and according to Google, where are we now? The public sector in St. Kitts and Nevis the employment accounted for roughly 43% of the employment. That's in 2021. In 2018, it was 38%, so it has gone up. And bearing in mind, this is 5 years ago. And you did say, I think it was 30%, and it says in the US it's 15 to 80%. When it comes to percentages, I think that can be a tricky thing. I am very much aware that figures don't lie. Figures are facts. However, for example, if you have one of something and then it increased by 100%, that's a lot, but it only went up to 2. It increased by 1 as compared to 10% of 50, which is 5. So the percentage, I think it has to be taken somewhat in context. And I'm wondering, though it's 13 to 15%, when it comes to the population of the U.S., that's a big thing compared to us with 50,000 people, 55,000 people. So could that be a little different? Could that be significant? Because 1% of the population of India and China and 1% of the population of St. Kitts. India and China, they have what, billions? And the US, they're like 341 million people. So 1% of the US is, boy, my brain wake up yet. 341, that's going to be take off 34,000 or something like that. 100 and something. As opposed to the 1% of St. Kitts and Nevis, which is one of 55,000. That's going to be 550 people. So, but the subliminal message is government must save. And one of these savings would come in, as people suggested, the callers have suggested, selling these old buildings we have down up and around Bastille. If we're not going to repair them, sell them. And another caller argued that it might be cheaper to rent buildings because you don't have the headache of maintenance and things like that. Something is wrong, you call the landlord and he gets it fixed, etc., etc. Let's go to the line and take this caller. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. Welcome.
Yes, just to make a point, the percentages using the percentages is in fact a good way, because basically, let's say government services are pretty much the same world over. Of course, because of our size, we don't have no huge army like the U.S. and no military like the U.S. and so on, right? But generally speaking, the services offered are pretty much the same. And so doing it in terms of percentage, you'd wonder, well, why the percentages, if you're running an efficient government, you'd expect that the percentages should reflect that, right? So if you're going to tell me that, so the U.S. use 15% of the workforce is employed in government sector, and we employ, you mentioned 43%?
Yes, that's what Google is telling me.
Okay, right. That's even worse than I thought, if that's the case.
Yes, I realized that. You said 30.
Right, because I know at one point the report that said 30, they used 33, I think, or 34%. But if it's 43%, if that's actually going up, that's the wrong direction.
Yes.
You can say straight off, I mean, even in terms of scale and so on, that is too high. And we talk about sustainability. I am not sure how much longer we can sustain that. The government is already producing a deficit budget. We can't do that continuously without having consequences. So, yeah, so I think it is reasonable to say that to use percentages as a comparison, I think.
Okay. Thanks a lot, caller. We appreciate your input. And I know when it comes to comparisons, one of the tools used is per capita. Every so many persons per 1,000 persons, I think it is. And that gives a general idea. But point well taken. And before we go into break, let me just touch a few other topics on the local scene. I really like this one. It speaks to TDC and STEP host a series of workshops to strengthen resume writing skill, and this was posted on winnfm on May 8th. Where is that? Oh, come on, computer, you're working tricks on me. TDC and STEP host a series of workshops to strengthen resume writing skills of youth. Resume writing skills of youth. The TDC group of companies in collaboration, and this is posted on the winnfm 98.9's website. The TDC group of companies in collaboration with the Skills Training and Empowerment Program STEP office in St. Kitts continues to advance its empowerment initiatives through a series of workshops aimed at strengthening resume writing skills among young people. Over the past 2 weeks, the company hosted several sessions for both students and adults, helping participants develop practical skills and better preparation for the world of work. I quote, "When I was head of employment at the Ministry of Employment and Labor, there were persons I would have recognized who did not know how to write their CV, CV's curriculum vitae, write their CV properly, or some persons who had no knowledge whatsoever of what a CV is. And being at this step office, I've noticed that the same issue. Some staff would say, I do not know how to write a CV. Some staff, interesting. And even applicants to the program. And I looked at it and I saw it as a very good initiative and would have contacted Miss Esdell, that is Mr. Esdell, having looked at TikTok videos. And after the conversation, I did feel that TDC is showing good social corporate responsibility, and TDC is one of the sponsors of Island Tea here on WinFM 98.9, and we do thank you, TDC, very much. Having looked at TDC showing good solid corporate responsibility by allowing us to be part of or engage in this training, and I feel it's a very good opportunity for our participants. As you heard of them say, they're debuting in the training and are interested in learning about CV writing. Some of them said they don't know how to write a CV. Some of them say they would have asked persons for assistance and they would like to know how to know for themselves, which is a good point. Rather than give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. I believe in that principle. And you would have heard others say they want to be able to boost their confidence and be able to speak in public. That is a serious problem we have in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm going to pause on the article to comment on that. When I was going to Sandy Point High School, and I finished at Sandy Point High School in 1981, the only school in the country that was doing debate was Basti High School. It was a very good thing. However, I felt it was disadvantageous. Similar to metalwork, they were the only school in the Federation doing metalwork. And I think that was disadvantageous to the other high schools around the island. And debating, that is one way of boosting your confidence. It helps you with your eloquence. Some people, and if you listen to a lot of people today speaking, and let me tap wood, I'm glad the Lord blessed me with a little bit of oratory skills. You hear them, right, these nuances. And I'm not certain how much we are doing to cut that out, but it has to start it has to start at home. But maybe some parents may not know, maybe they are guilty themselves. So then the next level is the primary school. And I am suggesting in the primary schools, they have sessions where all the classes, they conduct interviews. The students themselves conduct interviews. So you have a chance to do two things. You have a chance to be an interviewer. You are doing the interview. And an interviewee, you are being interviewed. And that will go as you come up and going into the private or public sector. It gives you that confidence. The St. Kitts and Nevis Youth Parliament, I don't know how many of us listen to them when they speak. They speak with confidence. They speak with authority. And that is how our children should go up. And I have to make the point. When you look at children in the U.S., 6 and 7 and 8 years, they're on these shows, the Letterman shows and what have you. And they're talking like big adults, big matured people. And our children, even at later ages, I don't know, I'm not so sure. Yes, my mommy helps me. That kind of timid approach. And sad to say, even our sportsmen and sportswomen, as a sports journalist for WinFM 98.9, when I interview some of them, I might have 4, 5, 6 questions. Sometimes I have to cut at one. Sometimes I have to lead them to get the answer out. And that is something we need working on. And where were we? And you would have heard of others say they want to be able, no, we touch that. So I think it's a very good opportunity, and we are very, very grateful to TDC. I would have this conversation with Mrs. Hodge Percival when we both came to the office, TDC's office, and we had a conversation with her. End quote. I really like this. Let's go to the line and say, good morning, caller. Welcome to Island to You Live. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very interesting topics. But at the end of the day, I prefer to be the landlord rather than to be the tenant, even though you got to call in people to maintain and all of that. You cannot encourage government ministers to sell the people's assets. You can't do that. What they need to do is maintain the assets, because if you check the records of government, you have lots of maintenance, people who are on the payroll and who's supposed to be getting pay to maintain these facilities for government. That with public works and all of the others. And somebody will say public works are not working, and so maybe they should abandon that, but you can't. I have to commend public works for the road works. They are doing some very good patches on the road nowadays, which I commend them on that. Now, having said that, the main issue, I will tell you this. One of the things that lots of people in St. Kitts are going through. I have recently purchased a piece of equipment out of Japan. And they send me a bill of lading, complete international bill of lading, and it stipulate your payments. You pay in full, which I did pay in full, all of everything pertaining to the carriers. And you have what you call original cut bill of lading. And when that arrives in my hand, all I have to do is to present it to the agent, and they should stamp it. If they charge you $50, you don't mind for the stamp. But don't tell me that the agents are going to charge me $300 and can't tell me what the cost is for. And then tell me, well, part of it is for bill of lading. I say, you can't charge me because I have it in my hands already. So in my mind, that should be a matter for consumer affairs, and it probably will be a legal matter if I have to end up paying. And if I don't pay, they might decide to seize my thing at the port. If they don't release, custom will not be able to release. But my only two payments should be if I request a customs entry, and I should pay for that. If I request them to do the runnings for me to clear the equipment, I should pay for that. I'm supposed to pay all custom taxes and duties on that equipment, and also the port authority, nothing else. In my payment and the bill of lading, the agent is being paid out of that. They're not supposed to collect any funds at all from me. And people right now, lots of people think it's a querying, but they're querying under their breath. I paid everything in Puerto Rico, and now I reach St. Kitts, I have to pay more.
But shouldn't you have to pay some sort of processing fees or administrative fees to the broker?
No. If you request a broker, then you need to pay the brokerage fee.
Okay.
But once the document is posted to you and it's in your hand, it's a different ball game. Because that international bill of lading speaks to CIF total cost of shipment. All you need to do is turn over to you. The only person that you have to deal with is customs and the port. Legitimate. If you have to pay stevedores and so, you know where you pay stevedores if they unloaded and so on? Because they come under a Union Act system. If they pay those for you, then it's a different story. But the agents to walk up to the counter and somebody going to tell you $300 is not fair. It can't be right. Cannot be right. And it's not legal. It is illegal.
Well,
it is illegal.
The consumer affairs, I think...
Sure, that's a matter for consumer affairs, and then afterwards, then you take it from there.
Yeah.
But consumer, and I tell you, I will tell anybody, consumer affairs does work. It works. But you have to bring the case to them. And once they get the case, they will follow the line of the law.
So they don't do any investigative work, you're
there are a lot of things that they do that are very unfair to people who order stuff. Don't tell me you didn't hire a broker. If you want a broker, you'll hire one and say, look, the broker will tell you, my fee will be so and so, and you will agree upon those fees. And once you agree to those fees, then you will pay. But you can't just throw somebody some ambush prices in the face and say they have to pay. If not, then you don't release the stuff. You can't do that. It's out of order. And a lot of people are crying out, but they're not doing anything about it because people say, you know what, I'm going to pay because I don't want any confusion. The other thing I will tell you, I will not jump off of one thing to another, but I will just show you some areas. One of the things that we have also in thinking, lots of tickets are being issued to people. Lots of them are being issued unfairly. You know why the people go and pay them? Because they don't have the time. Just go at the courthouse, because when you go to the courthouse, you place me not call. It's not that the officer who write the ticket is right.
Yeah,
but they don't have the time, so the officer know that, so encourage you to pay the ticket. But so when you pay the ticket, they just move on from that.
Could you give a couple examples that you think? Could you give a couple examples that you think, in your opinion, are unfair?
Some of which thing? Okay, I give you this one.
Mm-hmm.
An officer wrote a ticket to someone at certain feet. I'm not going to stipulate,
of course,
but the
I
feet,
agree with that.
The distance from the corner of the curve was far more than specified. And the officer wrote a ticket and put down the distance, the feet that they saw, that they probably measure, and the feet was more than what is required from a corner. But you know what? The person decided that they were going to pay, and they paid the ticket. That's the things happen. They don't make no sense to challenge in court, because you go to court, you lose a day. But you lose another day and another day because the case may not call. That don't mean the person right.
But in a case like that, the telephone is a big tool these days, a big piece of equipment. Everything, persons pull their cameras and they either take a picture or take a video. So don't you think if that person were to have taken a picture or video of where they parked and the ticket and the date, etc., and take it to the traffic department, don't you think the traffic department might say, boy, you have a case here, we're going to withdraw the ticket even before it reaches to the courts?
Yes, but that takes time too. Everything you do, because not everybody is as privileged as you, who might have as much time as somebody else. But time is the essence of a lot of things. People only have a certain amount of time in the day to get certain things done.
And time is
and when
money.
they work out the benefit of time to go after certain things, sometimes it ain't worth it.
I understand that, but a ticket of $150, I believe it to go up the traffic, even if you don't have, well, you drive up there, parking space, you get it in 5-10 minutes to present it. They may tell you we're going to get back tomorrow. They may tell you they get back later in the day. But
no, I only use that as a scenario, as a thing. I'm not really shooting down at the police thing, but at the same time, I just use that to show you that there are lots of things that people are paying for, which they should not be paying for.
I believe so.
The added cost is to a lot of goods that are not, should not be. You go into a shop, lots of days you go into a supermarket now, and you see lots of prices pull off and pull on and pull off and pull on. And sometimes you see a price and you go to the cashier tell you, no, that's any right price, and then they change it right in front of your eyes, and then they tell you need to pay. No, these are things that should not happen.
I agree 100%.
You see these prices with the gas and so on, a lot of people taking advantage of the situation. People are doing things in their own benefit, not they don't care about others, the peril of others.
I think
and the way you live is how you manage your income. It's not based on the income you make, it's how you manage what you have. And you have to manage it, because if not, people will take advantage of you and you will end up with your hands empty. You got to watch them. Trust everybody, but verify what their action is. Trust but verify. That's a casino
Bill Clinton.
A casino policy. You must trust but verify.
Bill Clinton was popular for that.
Make sure you know what you're paying for. So back to the subject matter. To me, a lot of things being done wrong, and they need to be fixed, like yesterday.
I appreciate
we can't continue the way we're going. People take advantage of other people and think they're smart. And when you think you're smart, you think the other person is stupid. Not that they are stupid. It's just that they don't want to waste no time and fight with you over a couple of dollars which you're trying to take from them. But if you use a multiple factor, if you use 100 multiplied by 300, you know how much money that is? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Somebody going home laughing. And it's wrong. It needs to stop.
We appreciate that, caller. Thanks for you. All right, have a good day. Thanks for listening, WinFM, and please continue to listen and call in. Let us go downtown and big up our sponsors. Tell them thank you for sponsoring Island Tea here on WinFM 98.9. Please stick and stay. Don't go away, because we have a lot of topics here locally, internationally. The Hunter virus, we haven't touched that. I'm wondering if we worldwide, especially in the OACs, we are taking it as serious as we ought to, especially since St. Kitts and Nevis was included on the list of concerns. But stick and stay. We're going to go downtown and big up our sponsors.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
What are you doing? She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, cause when we out and we active living we life. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we building up our vibes. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. Why?
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC, home and building depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC, home and building depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC, home and building depot.
Old fast, bright, smart, you're up now. This is your start. Big deal, nice wheels, just my ride. No wait, no hassle, just right. I saw it, I owned it, quick like that. National bank, no, got me on track. Now I'm rolling free, no free spread. Keys in my hand, I feel blessed.
With Vroom, you pay $0 down. Get low rates and fast approval. Apply today at any National Bank branch or online at www.sknanb.com. Vroom, your used car loan from National Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your start.
It's here. The all-new Toyota RAV4 has arrived at TDC Automotive with bold styling, advanced technology, and the versatility to match your lifestyle. This is the SUV built for wherever the road takes you. Now available. Get yours today or place your order with our team. Visit us at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Site in St. Kitts or Penny's Industrial Estate in Nevis. TDC Automotive. We're number one for a reason.
Welcome back to Island here on WinFM 98.9. We have a caller on hold. Good morning, caller. Thank you for your patience. Welcome to Island T. You're live. Oh, we seem to have lost that caller. Let us take this one. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling in. You're live on Island T.
Hey, Charles, good morning.
Morning.
To you and to all the listeners. Maybe two things, maybe three, maybe four. Watch here. Buddy caller was saying, the last caller, I don't know if I get it right, but I find too, like if you send something from a Amerijet, like up here, you pay to send it, eh? But by the time you get to St. Kitts, the person get to go clear it, they still got to pay $50. They say for handling fees. What handling fees? I don't pay my money up here.
Well, yeah, that's for the freight. But remember the entity here, and I'll prefer not to call names. They'll have to still process the documents. They'll have to get somebody to the airport, get them into customs, pass it through to customs, etc. So it's all about that administrative fees, handling fees, whatever you want to call it, because
So
they are
that's
going to
the
use
thing.
somebody to do that, and they
So
have to pay
that's-
the person.
Go ahead.
Now they have to
Right.
pay the person.
So that's the same thing when you send like barrels, you ship barrels, you pay the shipper, and then when your thing reach like the little while when I could say it's public, you still got a little paper they print out. You still got to pay $50 for that.
I don't know
Where
what
they just
what the cost,
yeah.
but mhm.
Yeah, they call it an entry. You got to pay $50, so they can incorporate everything. And when your barrel come, they just call you and tell you go down the port. It's too much of fees. But anyway,
Well,
another
before you move off on that point, that can probably be done, but then the shipper up there, say Biff's shipping company, you're paying me to come and pick up the barrel and send it from New York to put it on an airplane or shift it according to what you choose and get it to St. Kitts. That's what you're paying me for. So if we have to now incorporate the cost for the shipping agent, that is going to be more work for me, and I have to get something for that as well. So it's better
Okay,
I
you're
just
right.
get a shipping thing and you deal with
Like
that in
two
St. Kitts.
different entities,
Yes.
so to speak.
Uh-huh.
So, another note. Last week, y'all had a topic about the Attorney General, right? Shouldn't be attached to the government.
Yes.
You were referring to St. Kitts. But what could be worse than in Jamaica? Jamaica and Antigua are the two only Caribbean islands where you have a sitting prime minister. One has his wife as speaker, and the other wife is a minister of government. So what could be worse than that? Yeah.
Well,
and
I'll start by saying the persons there don't have a problem with that because they voted for it.
No, because in Jamaica, for example, when I follow Facebook, people like calling for the removal because just the other day the speaker had to put a woman out, but maybe rightly so because she touched the mace, and they said the mace is a sacred part of the house thing. You know, but I don't really feel like, to me, it's right, though, to go sitting prime minister. I mean, unfortunately, on our end, only two of our prime minister had wives, so that wasn't the case. And then the next thing, what it is about women, that men always killing them. I saw another post. I like to speak about Jamaica. I don't know why. I saw it in the news that this guy, he must be just recently married to a New York lady. He took her down there. She went down. I think the thing came out. It happened on the 29th of April. Whatever he did to her, he took her to a hospital in a wheelchair and turned off. And then they say she died from blunt, some kind of trauma. But they say she was like touching base with her family back in the U.S., telling them like she in danger and they must check she location and kind of thing. So I would really like to know why it is others could be so sweet and then turn so sour. Because men just love to kill woman by. I don't know if it's the honey or I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I think some of us are just sick in the mind, sick in the head, and I don't know. But I always say
mothers give birth to women, and I think women are supposed to be loved, but to kill them, I really don't know.
I never believe in hitting a woman, and never mind going to those extremes. Even if a woman is unfaithful to you, you have three choices at least, I believe. One, you try to get her not be unfaithful. Two, you suck it up and live with it and say, okay, boy, I getting bite, okay, no problem. Biff biting me or Cartense biting me or whatever the case is, and you live with it. Or three, you pack up and leave.
Sure,
because hitting a
why,
woman, I don't think that will help any. If she wants to be, if she's friendly with you and she wants to be friendly with Biff or have something with Biff, you hitting, I don't believe that'll stop it really. But the laws perhaps need to be stronger and stiffer. But it is said that when it comes to here in St. Kitts and Nevis, once you call the police and tell them that, hey, somebody is hitting, there's domestic abuse, somebody is hitting a woman, they'll show up much quicker than for other situations. I guess that is how highly they regard it. But I don't believe in any man hitting any woman for whatever reason.
Because up here the law is very strong. Even if you're going like say something to a woman, the minute you touch your hand and put your hand on them, the police arresting you. Even if you watch them too hard, but you know when I say that, but seriously,
But the Saint Martin thing, it was in the news. That was really, it was sad.
No, which Saint Martin? What are you talking
No,
about?
a
Saint Martin?
situation like that happened. I think it was in Saint Martin that a young lady from the US went to.
Oh yeah, well that was different because she went wild. You gone in a foreign country. You gonna go hang with people who you know. So her situation was different.
Okay.
She went on vacation. She caught up with this guy. Went to hang with him. They say he was in drugs, and she just getting the crossfire. So it wasn't like
okay.
She went with a stranger who she didn't know. So that was different. But this man was married to this girl maybe just they said like December. And then in a matter of months, you kill her. Well,
He got to be mentally disturbed.
Some people saying that is because he was over a woman. But how you had a woman and you in Jamaica, and you choose to marry to somebody, and then you bring her down to your home country and then kill her.
Well,
but I find these American women, men, or something about them, they seem to like Jamaican men. I don't know. Maybe it's the accent they like.
Perhaps.
I don't know. And so they just to me get caught. Let me tell you, I went to a cruise, right? Me and my partner, we went on a cruise. We fly from New York to Jamaica. And there were 2 American girls, right? Right, because we didn't get to make the cruise in Miami. And so 6 of us were flown to Jamaica. And the taxi driver, he was very cool. And the 2 American girls, they wanted to go with him the night. You know, go hang. Because, you know, they hang and whatever. I said, not me. I going in the room. We went in the room till they put us in the hotel. We were in Montego Bay because it's no way I was going with no taxi driver in the night to go nowhere go hang in Jamaica. Me?
Some people are more daring than others.
Not me. I eat. And we went in the room, and we waited till he come pick us up to carry us to Ocho to make the boat. It's nowhere. I in a strange land. Man doing that.
Yeah, you have to be cautious.
You taking no chance. You're mad. Next thing they find my body by the roadside. The next morning, I mean, not to really bring down Jamaica in a way, but, you know, everywhere got crime, but not me, man, taking no chance in a foreign land. But, you know, I just thought I would bring that to the fore, but...
Appreciate it, caller.
All in all, today is a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. We have to give thanks. We're above earth. And thank you very much for your comment, which I read earlier. WinFM is the best in St. Kitts by far. It reminds me of
when it reminds me, the news does really, I do some real good research, you know, but... And even ZDK too, ZDK, they used to be long, like 60 minutes. Man, they're still in operation.
Yeah, ZDK. 93 point something. I listen to them quite often.
The news used to be good for you, and until it's for you, but you know, and Wilsey White, he had somebody from Manchester.
Yes,
White.
I think so.
But anyway, Katensia coming in tomorrow?
No, she'll be back on Friday, God's Spear.
Okay.
So I'm holding it today and tomorrow.
So clear. Good morning.
Thanks a lot, caller. Have a good day. All right.
Okay,
thank you for your input. Let's go to this call and say good morning, caller. You're live on Island here on WinFM 98.9. Welcome.
Yes, Biff. Yesterday I had cause to go to a government department, right? And I was redirected to another place. Apparently, the department within the department was moved to. Okay? And it occurred to me, I from time to time I've heard people saying, I mean, government have all these buildings around the place with offices in them. And to me, that is not a good thing. Apart from the fact that, of course, it's easier for people doing business with the government to have a centralized place. Quite apart from that, the more, I don't know, within, let's say, 25 years, say, has our population doubled? I don't think so.
I don't think doubled.
No. So why should government need all that much more space? I would have thought with automation, with computers and so on, you'd need less for processing. You'd need less people to process stuff. You would think, okay? And it relates back to what the caller was saying about importing stuff. you would think with the new systems that they have, I think they call it SQDA, I'm not sure what the acronym is for, but that is supposed to smooth things over to make sure that you don't cheat customs and those kinds of things, right? And I don't think, well, I could understand at least if you put in a lot of stuff that you need a broker. But fortunately, I think for most people, ordinary people who might bring in a barrel or something like that, they don't have to go to a broker. And that is good. That makes some more efficiency. But this shall we say, making things more complex that require so much more office space and so much more employees, that's going in the wrong direction. And they should really do something about it. Okay? I know, for instance, there's been talk about digitalizing government services and so on. Well, that can't come soon enough. But unfortunately, how things are going so far, it seems as if every department of government have to find some new place somewhere. And the thing is, it's not in an existing government building or that they refurbish or something like that. It's usually some private owner of this office space, which means higher costs for government, right? But nobody seems to be looking at these things for one reason or the other. Of course, you should make sure that your employees are working in a good environment and so on, make sure it's nicely air-conditioned and, presentable to the public and good for the employees who work there. But I think they're overdoing it, to be quite honest, right? I honestly feel that they're overdoing it. I agree that they shouldn't work in cramped office space and so on, but government needs to look at this. It would be nice if, and this is where, again, accountability comes in, the Public Accounts Committee comes in. If you had a Public Accounts Committee in place, that committee could actually look at, well, how much is it costing government to do these things, okay? And make recommendations and point out that you would be saving the public, the taxpayers, a lot more money if you did things a different way. But again, we're not even looking at that. That's what I'm saying. There's no layer of accountability that is supposed to look at these things and make sure that things are done properly. And so, obviously, if you leave government to itself, government is going to spend, right? And that overall is not good for taxpayers. It's not good for the public. It's not good
30
not even
seconds
for the
more,
impression
caller,
of
please.
government. Okay. It does not give the idea of good management and efficiency. All right, then.
Okay, thank you very much for that input. I am not certain how happy persons will be with government and spending, and that is always one way to save the government, save the country, cutting back on expenses. And the rental is one of these buildings up and down. And I said before, I thought what was Fort Thomas Hotel, that was an ideal space for a government complex, rather than having government offices up and down the area, up and down Bastille, even as far as up as what's that area there? McKinley Heights, where the supermarket is up there, and by the road region going down by Antioch and those places. There's a government office there, and I remember when we had culture, we were looking at space. We couldn't get the space that we needed within Bastille. We entertained that, but it didn't satisfy our space, the needs for space we had. So, but having that or get a piece of land and build a complex, a government complex. So you walk within from one office to the next 3 minutes, you're there, rather than having to drive halfway around the world and can't get parking space, etc. Let us go to this caller and say good morning. We lost that one. Let's try this one. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling into Island T. You're live on WinFM 98.9.
Yeah, babe, it's me again. Okay?
Yes, sir.
To be quick as possible. Want to address two things quickly, though. First of all, you remember the issues that I brought up earlier, right? No.
Yes.
I think a good thing for WinFM, right, to maintain the edge. Mark, I don't listen to, I really and truly, and I ain't mean it in a negative way, but WinFM is the only station I don't really listen to when I'm listening to a radio station.
And we thank you very much for that, sir.
Others, okay?
We thank you very much, and we know there are a lot more like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But so therefore, I cannot really compare WinFM news to the others to say who is the best and not the best.
Okay.
I really and truly just WinFM I listen to. Okay? But what I'm saying is that in order for WinFM, I think a very good thing, suggestion I would like to make to WinFM, to maintain the edge, okay, as others have said that they have. You see, they got part of those two issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first one is a simple yes and no, straightforward issue. All that needs to be simply done, for example, is contact the proper authorities.
Correct.
It's either yes or no, okay?
If they're going to answer, if they're going to answer,
Yeah.
they might say no comment.
Right.
They can't comment on it. But you're right.
Right. And that could have been done before this program finished. Somebody in the newsroom could have simply just make a call, and the answer would have been either yes or no, you know. And before the program finished, they pass on the message to you, and you're able to verify whether such or whatever is the case or not the case. Okay?
That's a
the first
suggestion.
one is quite easy. The second one would have been a bit more complex, but still not all that complex. Okay? Because I think if my memory told me correct, even Tony, when she used to do the program, sometime in between calls, she would make a call to verify whatever with the proper authorities. And by the time the break finished, she have an answer, you know? So that is just a suggestion to keep the edge, for WinFM to keep its edge, because there might be an item that is very important, and you may not want to wait until the news. You break it as quickly as possible.
Point
and then maybe
taken.
in the news now. Yeah, in the news
They
now,
provide
you
more
probably
details.
will give more detail, you know?
Correct.
Yeah, so that is the first issue. The second issue, I wanted to quote the Honorable Sean Richards in a statement that Win published some time ago. The article is titled, Sean Richards accuses SKN government of ruining the economy. And it is dated August the 13th, 2025. So that's the name of Sean Richards accuses SKN government of ruining the economy. Dated August 13, 2025. Okay? And in the article, I'm just going to read a little quick thing. He said, the locals can no longer afford to do businesses. The locals can no longer afford to do business here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. When you are going to increase the cost of electricity within a 2-year period, you are going to increase the minimum wage. It is going to have an impact on local businesses. So Sean Richards here in this article, and it was written by Yolanda Week. Sean Richards in this article said, hey, the negative impact of, like you said, increasing electricity costs and minimum wage have a negative effect on the economy.
Greg, I think that point, I think with respect, and I thank you for that point, but that's a point that you've made several times. I think the point is well made, and I know you're trying to justify it, but persons will argue. So if you're getting $200 and the price of everything keeps going up around you and you don't increase your price, you just won't be able to survive. And that's the reality. If I am getting $200 and when I go to the grocery store... Sorry?
No, so sorry. Somebody else was speaking to me.
Okay. So
sorry about that.
Some adjustments have to be made to allow you to sort, if not overcome, at least close the gap. Because if flour is 25 cents a pound and it's now $3 a pound, and I'm still getting the same $200. I mean, something have to give. And I am seeing the article that you refer to, and this is what I encourage you to do. State your source so I can go and verify. And you are correct with the Honorable Sean Richards, Dr. Sean Richards, saying that.
Yes.
But that point is well made. And in all fairness, I think we're going to argue from now until thy kingdom come, because you're suggesting it's a bad thing. Sean is saying, the Honorable Sean Richards is saying it's a bad thing. But whether or not we like it, it's going to happen because governments need to make life a little more accommodating, a little better for their citizens. So they're going to always increase the minimum wage, as negative effects as it will have. It's a case of between a rock and a hard place. The lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils.
No, it is not. It's because that's not all the option. Because, for example, if you increase the minimum wage and prices increases, but yet the poor man, yet the poor man, the market price increase as a result, and yet the poor man, okay, yet the poor man, right? He finding it hard as a result to find jobs. He hours cut. He get laid off quicker. All these negative as a result. Guess what? You actually made it worse for the poor man.
Still, and the caller did suggest that perhaps when you would have gotten your bonuses and your increases, you should have said that no government, take them. It's unbiblical, and so I don't want an increase. But let us look at this scenario.
No, but hold on. It's not unbiblical if your employer give you a raise or not, be it government, yes or not. It's not unbiblical for me to take it. What is unbiblical is how they do it. They do it in a wrong context. That is what I am saying. What I am saying is that the thing to do, okay, is even if you're going to increase government employees' wages, you need to decrease taxes.
Greg, I'm not certain. I'm really not certain, Greg. You will be able to convince anybody decreasing taxes will help, because whether we like it or not, the government needs money to pay the civil service, to pay the police, to pay the nurses. They need monies to fix the roads and make sure our electricity supply is up to international standards, the water supply, we have adequate water supply, etc., etc. So if they're going to decrease taxes, their income is going to be less. So don't you think they will not be able to do a proper job at these things?
That is why you also, when government decrease taxes, they also need to decrease government spending and privatize a lot of the stuff they have, which is the biblical way to go. And that would include privatizing hospital, clinics, roads, schools, and that sort of stuff. Those government are not to be bogged down with those expenses. Government is supposed to be very limited. The private sector is less wasteful, more competitive, and deliver better services and goods.
They do a better job policing their assets, etc.
Because of competition. Right, and market forces. So that is what I am
But
saying.
remember, privatizing, they also going to it. If I'm going to take over the water supply of St. Kitts and Nevis, I must make a profit, and in some cases, not a profit. I must make a certain amount of profit.
Yes.
So,
and I would bet you the water supply was privatized. We would have far more desalination plants in St. Kitts.
But what do you think might happen as a result of all of that, Greg?
More competition.
No, not only that.
Prices.
But bring down prices. Not prices going up.
Yeah.
They're going to increase.
If you have If you have competition, growing competition, in order for you to stay in business, you have to bring down your prices to compete with your alternatives.
But then the competition is based on a market. If we have, I don't know, 20,000 people in St. Kitts with water, how many competitors will enter in that market? Because if you could only make $100 profit, if 5 people enter the market, that's on an average $20. And you might decide, why now it make no sense for me to go into competition to do this just to make a profit of $20. So therefore you won't get in it. It's easy to say competition.
Yeah, but babe, remember again, when the cost of living of a country is going down, okay, because of lower government taxes and that sort of stuff, and it becomes easier to live in that country, you know what happens? Your population grows because people now coming in your country to do shopping, to live, and that sort of stuff. You become attractive internationally. It's not static.
I suspect that will be the case, yes. But the reality is, Greg, when the government loses revenue somewhere, it has to be made up somewhere because it's like a scale and balance.
Not if you cut government expense to offset it.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. You have to cut government expense to offset it. And I say a lot of stuff that government do, they need to privatize.
Okay, but
so because you cut government expenses, you don't have to get these ton load of money to run your government because you don't have the load of expenses.
Okay, we have to go to a break now, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you very much for calling in and sharing your view. We really appreciate that. But stick and stay, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go and run some ads to say thank you to our sponsors, and we appreciate their partnership with WinFM 98.9 and Island Tea.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Campari. Red Passion. Embrace the mix.
Campari Red Passion, full action, this is Red Passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink. Campari Red Passion, make the nicest mix. Campari.
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Here are your Horse's Value Mart IGA Blue Tag Special.
Running April 30th to May 13th.
Gerber Graduate Puffs, just $9.99. Mulus Pasta Lasagna, $7.99. Peter Pan Peanut Butter is just $12.99. Snap Pack Pudding and Gels, $5.99. Duncan Hines Mix and Brownies, $6.99. Essential Everyday Mayonnaise is just $20.99.
And now our value deals. Ragu Pasta Sauce, $12.99. IGA Essential Everyday Mac and Cheese, $2.99. Pearl Mill Pancake Mix, $11.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. Langus Juices, $11.99. The AM Toothpaste, $4.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en
Value Mart.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, cause when we out and we active, living we life. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. Why?
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC, Home and Building Depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC, Home and Building Depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at
Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Island Tea. If you're joining us for the first time, we thank you for joining. You're listening to Island Tea on winnfm 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host. We are going down until 10 o'clock. Oh, that's just 12 minutes. Boy, we have voices coming up after. And we have a caller online. Thank you very much, caller, for calling into Island Tea on winnfm 98.9. You're live.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Cleo. How are you, my dear?
I'm good. Good morning, Gwyneth, and everyone else. Gwen like to talk about competition, right? Competition only work if you have a level playing field, and we have proven in St. Kitts already that, as Douglas had told the nation one time, nothing wrong with competition. When we bring in all the Chinese and let them put up, literally wipe out the mom and pop stores. It proved that competition is unfair. It's not a level playing field. It don't work. So when you talk about competition, it's the poor that really suffers. When it comes to the so-called competition.
The mom and pop,
the poor always getting the messy end of the stick.
Yeah.
Because if it was something about competition was gonna boost the economy and boost this and boost that, then we would have been booming with all it. What happened? Where's all the stores we go up with? Do you see them? We don't see them, right?
Of course not. And we have even some in Sandy Point. There was a big supermarket, and they basically sold out to the Chinese.
I wonder which one the big supermarket.
I'm not allowed to call names, Cleo.
but you see, and because the competition is not fair, it's not on a level playing field. So you can't come tell people about competition. You need competition.
That's a very good point. The level field needs to be fair. Well, the playing field needs to be leveled and fair. All the processes, everything in place needs to be.
Exactly. Douglas tried that already. That's what he fooled the people with. Oh, nothing wrong with competition, but that competition kill out the St. Kitts small business industry. It kill out our mom and pop stores.
Indeed.
And give us not much garbage today. Have a good day. Voice is almost done.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day,
Thank
guys.
you very much, Cleo. Thank you for calling in. Let us take this caller. Good morning. You're live on Island Tea. And I have to ask you to be somewhat brief.
Thank you, Biff. Good morning, Biff. Good morning to all the listeners.
Yes, sir.
Earlier, gentleman raised points of the custom and port and the agents' issues pertaining to shipping of barrels or etc. Okay? And Mr. McMahon weighed his importance on that too. And I will agree. I don't think agents should have anything to do with when we ship our barrels from New York or wherever. It goes to an agent. Then you have to go to a port. Port, which is custom. Okay? That's where they are. Custom and port is there. 3 different payments. Everything should be done in one. But let's say, what role an agent is playing in our shipment to receive? They are going to go into the country. Anything go into the country, it's a national security interest, because you don't know if there are contrabands. So everything should go to customs, and they come to the port. Why 3 areas you got to pay? I mean, to me, that is just a rip-off to the system. Okay? I think customs should have been the one to receive these money. Okay? Not port, not an agent. An agent don't play no role. An agent don't have no role. It's just going to a name. I think the agent should be cut out of that.
But caller, firstly, the customs, they are just responsible for inspecting the barrels and attributing costs based on duties, etc. That is one function. Another function is the acceptance of the cargo and the storage until the processes are had and you come and you collect it. So,
Point taken.
so therefore, that is where the port comes in.
Let me correct myself. When I say custom or port, okay, they are the same thing to me because it's government entities.
But it's separate branches. It's like Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Labor.
Like I said, I'm not going to cut those out, but I'm cutting out the agent.
No, when they read St. Kitts, there must be documentation.
The government could do that.
That is where, which arm of government should do that, you think?
Custom.
No, the custom not there to complete documents. The customs just to say, Biff, this is your barrel that's coming. Okay, let's see the contents. To one, make sure there isn't any contraband, as you correctly said. And two, to say, with all these things, the value is $1,000, and duty on that is bam, bam, bam. You have to pay $600 as an example for duty and freight. So they don't have to fill out any forms. It's not their duty.
If I do have to say custom, I mean port. If I do say
I know that, but I think we're beyond that. The broker now, that form needs to be filled out to say these items were brought into St. Kitts, sent by whoever up there, and what a little description of the items and the cost of the items, etc., for customs to then work on the cost of the items based on the document and whatever receipts you may be asked to produce.
Just remember, it is a four-way in display that is existing enough. We have to, when we take our stuff to whosoever shipper or agent for the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make sure it get on the ship to its destination.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Correct.
When it reaches to the destination, who will have jurisdiction? The government.
I don't think it's fair to say the government wide and open like that, because
custom is government.
Yes, it is.
And port.
Yes, but they are separate arms. It's like the example I use: Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Labor. The two of them are government, but different functions.
Well, they play their role. I am not leaving out none. All I'm simply saying, the agent, the receiving agent, like TDC or Dilil Walwin or whatever, they shouldn't play a role in that. That is just extra money. Well, what are they doing?
But you cannot. You cannot fill out the forms. So somebody has to do it. And anybody could fill out the form, but it's doing it correctly. Because you carry to the customs, they say, boy, no, Biff, this form ain't correct. You got to go and come again, and I do it 5 times because I don't know how to fill out the form. I'm wasting time, money, and effort, not only mine, theirs. So that is why the agency to fill out the form correctly for you.
And the agency correct, once it leaves from New York or wherever, England or wherever, okay, it arrives, port and custom, verify, whichever one will verify, okay? Itemized, custom have to be aware of that. They're going to inspect it. All I'm saying, the agent, they are not there to do no kind of inspection. They are not there to do anything but type something on a paper to say, release it. Who you have to go to finally release it? Custom or port or custom, vice versa. However, they have that sequential dealing. But I don't think for that extra money, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, 30 more seconds, please, caller.
And on my administration, I will stamp that out. And I will stamp out other things pertaining to custom and port and importation, especially cars and environmental levy assessment.
Okay, thank you very much, caller.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for calling. We're going to squeeze in this call. Caller, you have 30. Oh, no, you don't have 30 seconds because you're left. And it's all about cost savings, and I could understand that. We have this last caller. Good morning, caller. You're live. You're going to be the last caller. You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, let me say this quickly, babe. A lot of the little mom and pop shop, they have known over the years to be giving bad services, selling things very expensive, and that sort of stuff. I remember in one of them, I got, as a person going to school, I got a bad word thrown at me. And also, a lot of these little pops and mom shop, the man them run down the businesses because they spend the money where they ain't supposed to be spending it instead of in their business, especially spend it where they're supposed to be spending it.
Okay.
So a lot of these mom and pop shop there.
We have to end the call here. Greg, thanks a lot.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
You're correct. The levels of customer services aren't really high as they should be with the mom and pop shop, and for various reasons. But they have done tremendously well. They have been a tremendous support, especially in which may have been to the demise, the crediting facilities. But ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the program. We're going to be preparing for voices in a few, so we have to end there. We thank you for listening. We thank you for calling in, sharing your views, and we invite you to do so again tomorrow, God's Spear, for another edition of Island Tea. We thank the sponsors for being a part of the program, and Cartencia will not be in tomorrow. I will be in, so please continue to listen with FM 98.9, not only to voices, but throughout the day. Like one caller said, Greg, he only listens to Win FM 98.9, and we appreciate that. We appreciate Win FM being your radio station of choice. We thank you. But we're going to wrap up here. It's the end of the road for this edition, and we are going to be tuning into voices in a few. Thank you for listening.